Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, I would like to present a paper uh, with the title An Analytical Reasoning Framework for Visual Analytics Representation. I would like to share the screen here. So basically, this paper has been developed together with Dr. Doris Wong and Dr. Nurziha Megat Zainuddin and my students at Sharita Yusof. We are from Faculty of Technology and Informatics Raza, University Technology Malaysia. Alright, so before we go further ado on the framework itself, first let us see on the why it is important for us to have the analytical reasoning in the visual analytics. If you can see from here, from this slide, we have a two field, which is one is visual analytics and one is the predictive analytics. Okay, so visual analytics is basically a field that is outgrowth from the information visualization field, or IV, or the scientific visualization, or the data visualization, that they are emphasized or focus more on the analytical reasoning component that facilitated by interactive visual interfaces. While the other hand, on the predictive analytic itself, it is one of the branch of the advanced analytic which is used to make prediction about unknown future events. So when they want to make the prediction, they need to have the fact basis and how this analytic reasoning can help them to uh, put in the systematic component on how we can reason out. Okay, so from this both field, we can see that the uh, analytical reasoning is actually the critical component that need to be used or need to be detailed out, and with that we can enable users and decision makers to interact with underlying statistical algorithm, deal with noisiness inherent in real-world data, and apply their domain knowledge to reason about the outcomes of the analysis. So that is why the analytical reasoning has become the focus within these two fields. Okay, so with that, we try to dig further what is actually the definition of the analytical reasoning. So basically, this is the summary lah on the analytical reasoning, which is the analytical reasoning refer to the ability to look at information, and while looking at the information, they can identify pattern within it, and it involves deductive reasoning. So with the deductive reasoning, three important elements that need to be identified. The first one is actually they must comprehend the basic structure of the set of relationship of information, and they can recognize logic equivalent statement within it, and they can also inferring what could be true or must be true from given facts and rules. Okay, if you can see from this convergence and divergence perception, so we can see that here uh, the analytical reasoning is focuses on the convergence element, which is it is referring or focusing on the deductive reasoning, which is when you have a theory, they will observe it and they will try to identify the pattern within it, uh, then go to the hypothesis before confirming the theory back. So basically, this is actually the scope for the analytical reasoning when we are uh, applying it within the visual analytics. Okay. All right. So we go to the visual analytics structure. This is the paper originally from Babansky from 2012. So from Babansky, he identified five elements or five spaces within the visual analytics: information space, computing space, representation space, interaction space, and mental space. So now when we try to develop this framework, we only focusing on the representation space first, okay, which is here. Okay, so within this representation space of the Babansky, we try to detail it out on how the analytical reasoning can be facilitated within the representation space. So within that, we try to segmentize the representation space within three level, which is the higher level structure first, and then the interconnection, and then the lower level structure. And for each of these level will have the elements of the analytical reasoning. So if you can see here, we have this high level, and within the higher level, if you can focus on the analytical reasoning, we have three components there, which is the components that really can help on the higher level structure is basically the ability to synthesize, which we try to give them a big picture from the whole set of data, and then they try to fill in or fit in the goal of what the users want to achieve, and then the insights from the data that should be given back to the uh, to the user. And then within the interconnection level, it is actually the most important analytical reasoning that we need to facilitate within it is actually the ability for the users to relate. So with that ability to relate, they can identify either the trend, the pattern, or the relevancy within it. And with the lower level structure, we has identified so far 5 elements of the to help the analysis process or to facilitate the analysis process, which is the first one is benchmarking, ranking, decluttering, queuing, and filtering. Okay, so within this, we can see that with the analytical reasoning for component one is actually the ability to facilitate the ability analytic represented must be able to facilitate thinking process in the mental.